Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers? Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. It's good to have you here. It's Tuesday, October 28th. We're going to jump into the Jennifer Gledhill case. She's accused of murdering her estranged husband, Matthew Johnson, on September 21st. A lot's happened in that case, and I just caught up on it this weekend and thought this would be a good case to follow. Her estranged husband, Matthew, was in the National Guard. Just a little backstory. She filed for divorce in July, and then that next month, she filed for a temporary protective order, and she also submitted video evidence in support of her petition. But in September, a district court commissioner declined to issue a civil protective order, saying that abuse had not occurred, and the videos portrayed Jennifer as unafraid of her husband and that she was equally confrontational towards him. The commissioner also said text messages between the two showed Jennifer repeatedly berating, belittling, and demeaning her husband, if not outright attempting to provoke him into a violent response. So we're going to kind of jump to after the murder because this makes a little more sense when we're talking about the actual event and after. But an informant after the murder told police that he had been in an extramarital affair with the defendant beginning in July, the same month she filed for divorce. He said they had been in constant text communications with each other. He also gave investigators copies of audio conversations they had. They met through their kids who were playmates. He said on Sunday, September 22nd, 2024, the day after the murder, Jennifer came over to his house late at night, and while there, she told the informant that Mr. Johnson had come home on September 20th and yelled at her because he found out she had been sleeping with somebody else. Jennifer told her boyfriend that she shot Mr. Johnson on September 21st, 2024, as he slept in their bed. She disposed of the bed sheets, the mattress, and had cleaned with bleach. She said she put Mr. Johnson's body into a rooftop storage container, slid him down the stairs of their home, and loaded his body in the back of their minivan. She also said she smashed Mr. Johnson's phone and hid his truck in a nearby neighborhood. Jennifer also said she then took her husband's body north, dug a hole, and buried him in a shallow grave. Now, her boyfriend said that he noticed bruises all over her body, and when he asked her about them, she said they were from moving Mr. Johnson's body and cleaning the house. So on September 24th, Jennifer came into the police department to report an incident from September 20th between her and Matthew. She said she wanted the bruises to be photographed as evidence and told the detective in order to take photos of all the bruises, she would have to take her clothes off down to her underwear. So, of course, they brought in a female deputy to take those photos. But when asked what happened that night, the 20th, Jennifer said that her and Matthew had been separated and he didn't usually stay in the residence, but he did visit that day. She claims he wasn't interested in conversing with their children as they were being loaded into the car to go to Jennifer's parents' house. And after the children left, the two of them went inside, started to drink whiskey, and began talking. Later on, she said they had consensual sex. But she says that due to being drunk, she has a hard time remembering what happened after they had sex. She remembers Matthew got upset, but she doesn't remember why. She said she remembers him on top of her, striking her with a closed fist several times. Now, in the report, bruises were seen on her arms, her hands, and under her left eye. She told the officer she had bruises on her upper thighs as well as near where her bra was. She also had bruises on her knees and lower legs. She doesn't know if she was unconscious from the alleged beating or if she just went to sleep after being beaten. She said she did not report the incident because she made a deal with Matthew. She said that she herself had a long history of calling police on Matthew for non-criminal altercations, and Matthew said police wouldn't believe her. Her and Matthew both decided he would go back to work at Camp Williams. She would stay in the home and not call the police. But she says on September 24th, she found a note on her door from some of Matthew's coworkers saying that he had not shown up for work. She said after realizing he did not hold up his end of the deal, and after talking to her parents, she decided to report the incident. They asked if she could provide a written statement, but she declined, saying she did not think she could accurately write down the events from that night. Now, that day that she reported this, she was photographed. She was also put in touch with the victim's advocate and given a pamphlet on domestic violence, and was advised to go to the 3rd District to get a protective order. She was also advised to stay at her parents' house that night or have a parent stay with her at her home. Just to be clear, the murder happened in Utah, but an officer from Bend, Oregon requested a call with the reporting officer saying that a friend of Matthew's called in, saying that Matthew told him he was going to Bend, Oregon for 2 weeks to care for his dad who had a stroke. But the officer in Oregon looked through their system and said there was nobody in Bend, Oregon with the last name Johnson who had a stroke. They also ran Matthew's license plate number and it had not pinged in that area. The friend said that they had not heard from Matthew since September 1st, and also calls to his phone went straight to voicemail. The officer in Oregon said they were investigating this as a missing persons case, and the 2 different investigators exchanged numbers. Another National Guard coworker called and said that he had been tasked by a supervisor to try and find Matthew. He said Matthew put in for leave on September 1st with a return date of September 16th to care for his dad in Oregon. The coworker said the National Guard was filing paperwork to list Matthew as being AWOL. The coworker was told Matthew had been in Cottonwood Heights on September 20th, but had not been seen or heard from since. So detectives obtained a search warrant for the home, and they noticed that the mattress in the master bedroom was brand new. There were several reddish-brown spots on the wall, the bed frame, and the blinds of that master bedroom. The wall behind the bed was covered in bleach. There was a circular pattern on the carpet below the bed on the right side near the head of the bed, which tested positive for human blood. A neighbor told police that on September 24th, she saw Jennifer's parents in her house cleaning, and they did not leave the house until 11 p.m. When police confronted the parents about them being at Jennifer's house on September 24th, Jennifer's mother said they were only there for an hour. She also told police that she had purchased a mattress from Amazon at the request of her daughter. The defendant's father said he didn't remember details of that day, except he had been at Jennifer's house for a short period of time. Detectives confronted her father about how long he was at the house and if he went into the master bedroom, and he responded, quote, "I did not go in where the incident happened," end quote. Her parents, Thomas and Rosalie, were both arrested last Thursday on suspicion of obstruction of justice. GPS data from Jennifer's phone shows that on the day she told the informant, her boyfriend, that she killed her husband, she traveled to where her husband's truck was later found at 6 p.m. That afternoon, GPS data put her in Davis County until her phone was turned off around 2:37 p.m. It was turned back on around 5 p.m., and she was traveling eastbound on the West Davis corridor. Later that same day, her vehicle was captured on camera at a Holiday Oil on Highland Drive in Salt Lake County. The defendant thoroughly cleaned the car and opened all the doors. She left the car wash at 11:07 p.m. and then went to the boyfriend's house at 11:47 p.m., which is consistent with the timing the boyfriend told detectives. Call records show that Jennifer at no point tried to contact Mr. Johnson after September 21st. Detectives also served a search warrant at the parents' home and found a plastic tote near the bedroom where Jennifer would sleep when she stayed there, In the tote was a Glock gun box that was green and tan in color, and it was wrapped in a child's onesie. The gun container is consistent with the gun model and color that she showed to her boyfriend, and it was loaded on September 19th, 2024. That's 2 days before he was shot. The parents are also said to have ordered that new mattress on Amazon to replace the one where Matthew was killed. Blood below the bed was tested and shown to be from one male source, and testing is still underway to compare the single source to Mr. Johnson's DNA. By the way, his body has not been located, but nobody in his life has heard from him since September 21st, and that is inconsistent with his pattern of life. What is she charged with? 1 count of first-degree felony murder, 5 counts of second-degree felony obstruction of justice, 1 count of second-degree felony possession with intent to distribute, 1 count of third-degree felony desecration of a human body, and 1 count of third-degree felony witness tampering. Now, they have 3 children in common. Their ages are 11, 7, and 5, and the judge has ordered she is to have no contact with their children. The prosecutor said at her hearing there is some concern about obstruction that has already been alleged to have occurred and involvement with the children specifically, and that they would likely be a witness in this matter. In response, her attorney said that the state and the city and the police agency that investigates this are trying to set everything that my client loves on fire, essentially. Everything surrounding her, they're trying to take away. I think that this pretrial protective order is part of that. He said the protective order isn't needed because she is in custody and any contact between Jennifer and her kids would be supervised. But she cannot have any third party get in touch with her kids in any fashion, whether it be by telephone or electronically. Let's just look at discovery before we wrap this up. So far, what has been produced? 318 photos of a Chrysler van, 300 photos of a 2021 Ram truck. There are 65 photos from a parking lot, 661 photos from the residence where the murder occurred, 429 photos from her parents' residence, 61 witness statements, as well as text messages and photos, 8 cut carpet photos, 1 tan Glock photo, 43 photos of Jennifer, 41 body cam videos, 37 surveillance videos, 37 audio recordings. On September 20th, there are 2 videos of an argument from the garage area of the home between Matthew and Jennifer. There is 1 video of a black box van recording and 6 zipped files of drone footage. Again, his body has not been found. Mom and Dad are still in jail. There has been no charging documents put out there. I'll keep you updated. I'm very interested on this case. I don't understand why people just don't go through with their divorce and hash it out in court. You know, you're never going to get away with killing somebody. And then I guess she thought she could trust this boyfriend enough to spill the beans. And the boyfriend was like, nope, I'm going to the police and not even get involved in that hot mess. They have been searching very specific areas for his body, and I will keep you updated if we do hear anything about them finding him. Just a very quick recap. Sarah Boone, obviously, as you know by now, found guilty of second-degree murder. That was the biggest charge that they had. And her attorney was on Ashley Banfield last night and said that Sarah was shocked that she got the worst of the charges. She really thought she would be convicted of a lesser offense. And a little bit of Lori Vallow news to end it out today. As you know, she is awaiting trial in Arizona for conspiracy to commit murder in the killing of her 4th husband, Charles Vallow, the first of the 4 victims in this case to be killed. She's also on trial for conspiracy to commit murder against her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. She's already serving a life sentence in Idaho for the murders of her children, Tylee, Ryan, and JJ Vallow, as well as conspiracy to commit murder for her 5th husband's wife, Tammy Daybell. She also had some other charges that were financially related to Social Security. Her trial date that was scheduled for February 24th of next year has been vacated. A couple of things going on in this case. Her attorneys asked to be withdrawn due to a conflict of interest. The conflict is not stated in the filing, so we really don't know why. But she wants to waive her right to legal counsel and represent herself at trial there. The judge has deferred the decision until after her competency evaluation because the judge has ordered a competency evaluation. The filing says that both the state and defense are to provide Lori's available medical and criminal history records within 3 days to the Maricopa County Correctional Health Services. The document should include at least one police report, charging documents, the competency screening report if one exists, and all other available medical, mental health, criminal history, and collateral records. He ordered that 2 qualified mental health experts be appointed to view her medical and criminal records. Now, we know she was previously deemed incompetent before her trial in Idaho, where she spent months in a mental hospital, and then she was eventually deemed competent. We had trial, which I sat through and got that guilty verdict. So, never-ending story with Lori Vallow. I'll keep you guys posted on anything. If you're on social media, I highly recommend you follow Justin Lum. He's local to the Arizona case and is the first one to report all this. Thanks, Justin, for staying on top of it. As always, Nate Eaton in Idaho covers up there very well. Not only 2 amazing journalists, but 2 really good guys. Just 2 of the best people I've ever met. All right, so tomorrow we're going to go through the filings for Charlie Adelson, some other news as well. But until then, I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you soon.